My thesis is on paranoia and the irrational fear that I feel in my childhood home. So these are images from a photo shoot that I did. It's kind of been serving as a visual essay, just grounding me in what my theme is, and um, and the fears that I have. So this is my mood board. I've been looking at various horror films that are set in homes, as well as artists like Louise Bourgeois, Sarah McDowell, Craig Green, Giorgio Scori, and David McLeod. And I'm just kind of taking inspiration from film, from fine artists, from digital artists, from fashion designers, just things that evoke this sense of paranoia for me and for others. So I split up my. Sorry, I've done this recording like multiple times. So, anyways, so I split my swatches into a couple sections, and based them on kind of pretty general fears. So the first one we have fear of ugliness, cacophobia. The second one we have fear of pain, algophobia. The third one, fear of sound, sonophobia. And then the fourth one, fear of imperfection, atelophobia. So starting out with cacophobia, I've just kind of been getting inspiration from things that make me uneasy, like substances specifically. So, looking at like blood and something that's oozing and something that stains. So because of that, I've been working with this insulating foam, which is kind of ironic since it's meant for house repair. But so I've been working with it to build up shapes. I made like this kind of collar thing, and I really want to make it into more organic shapes. So, I still need to play around with that. I'm also working with hair, human hair, my hair, and my sister's hair, because I think that, seeing hair off the body can be very unexpected. And so I've been working with it either, laying it flat or rolling it into balls, like in here. And then I've also been working with a 100% polyester fabric, which when you heat gun, it creates this very veiny-like texture, which kind of relates back to my last semester's work, which was around the skin. Next, we have algophobia, and for this, I've been kind of working with the idea of dismemberment. So this kind of originated from this image on the top left. This idea of this like a creeping hand or this face emerging, but this like separation of body is very disturbing to me. So I've been working with plaster, whether that be fabric plaster or rock plaster, and then just taking that kind of a bit further. Again, I was looking at Louise Bourgeois, and she kind of inspired me to, push those castings further, and so I started playing around with putting fabric on them and kind of giving it this more messy look. And originally I was going to have the castings kind of coming off the form, but then after kind of playing around with it, I realized that, hanging them off the form was a little bit more to my message, I guess. And then again with this idea of something kind of coming out of the darkness, coming out of the black, or shadows, I've been playing around with putting objects under fabric and seeing kind of the wrinkles and lines that it creates. So these two are Barbie dolls. This is obviously my face. And then this was a paper mache balloon that I was just, draping with. Next, we have sonophobia, and this sound element is really important to me. I mean, as you can hear, I have the audio. And I guess I can just chime in here that, my final outcome is going to be like a horror film trailer. And again, the soundtrack for that is going to be really vital. And the sounds that you're hearing are like recorded from around my house. So for the first part of the sonophobia, we have a focus on like leaves and the crunching of leaves. And so this was a casting that I did, and then I covered it to look like wood, and then I put the leaves on. And this was kind of a reference to, like someone following you in the woods. And this is very kind of personal to me because, I live in a rural setting, and there's a lot of trees and open land, and it's really scary and dark at night. And then we also have this idea of glass. glass and windows has been like a very important thing to me because of the idea of, you being able to see outside and someone being able to see in. Um, and I just have this thing with windows, like I literally can't look out them at night um, for fear of what I'll see or who I'll see. So I made this swatch where I crushed up glass and then put it into plastic. This is like the second part of the sound element. So again, I was kind of looking at sounds that scare me, and I was just thinking about like weather and storms, and then that led me to like wind howling and wind chimes. So I actually bought those whistling tubes, which is what you're actually hearing right now, and I cut it up. I'm just referencing this swatch on the top right. I cut them up and then made it into a neck piece. So if you like turn your head and blow into it, it does make a bit of a noise. And then kind of looking at this tube idea, I just started playing with bigger, smaller, medium-sized tubes, making various swatches with them. And then this swatch here, I'm continuing to build up and kind of grow around the body. But I put glass beads as well as metal bolts and screws in it just to again create a sound that you're not really expecting. And that's kind of the point of the sound element. It's not really like a super prominent thing, but the point is just to have swatches that do make a little bit of noise to create something that you're not expecting and a noise that's not comforting. Then we have atelophobia, which is this fear of imperfection. So, because I really like working with glass, I thought, why not try to make something that mimics glass. So I've been working a lot with resin and creating glass shapes. And then this swatch here, I made pleats with glass and hair. And then this swatch here, I casted the body with resin. And then this swatch here is, again, the polyester that I put glass under and then heat gunned. I guess I should just reinstate that obviously this is not my final stuff. This is a year-long project, so this is literally just the beginning swatches. So pretty much up until this point, I've been doing swatches and just kind of trying to perfect them and then kind of cross them with each other. And then eventually we'll be making clothing. And that's the end of my audio bit, but I'm just going to keep going. And so this is the final aspect of the project. Again, this mimicry, trompe-l'oeil, deception. I think, when you see something and think it's one thing, but it's not, it's very chilling. And, the point of this collection is to have the viewer, evoke this emotion of paranoia and fear in the people that are viewing the garments. And then I just want to add that like the glass and the wood is a very like physical connection back to the house idea. And I kind of need to work back on refocusing in on the house, but the wood is the wood and the glass are just like physically trying to connect you back to the structure.